So obviously the 1997 League Cup win against Dundee United, you say it's a great atmosphere, great time at the club, and turned out to be a fantastic season. Which
Yep.
takes us on to the 1999-2000 League Cup final against Aberdeen. Where we won 2-0, but in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't such a great day or a great occasion. What do you remember of that day?
Oh, I just remember the atmosphere being pretty grim, even though we won, and it's good. Always good to win a cup, but just that season had been obviously turning into a total disaster after Christmas. But there's obviously Celtic were getting ripped apart at that point. This one season after the good work of Janssen, the decent kind of squad that Vengelos put together, brought some great players in, and was played some good football that season under Vengelos, but it's never made it across the line.
I think there was a few circumstances with Vengelos, and probably on the back of the World Cup and Vengelos coming in so late.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, his first player, I think Recef was his first player
Yep.
he bought, and it was well into the season.
I think that was October, late September, early October, and
Yeah, I mean,
not your greatest of signings.
it wasn't until he bought Mialbi and Moravcik. I'm sure that was the start of November both of them came in.
Yep.
Well, Moravcik might have been late
Moravcik-
October, but he obviously played before the 5-2 game, the 5-1 game. We played against Dundee, was it the week before?
It was Dundee 2 weeks prior to it, which was also the day that Jock Brown, I think, resigned from the club. So he was out that day. It was just a fantastic day. The one that Lubo, for the outside his boot, crossed it in for Larsson to score. But again, probably indicative of the time. The following week we went to St Johnstone and lost 2-1. And then the weekend after that we invited Dick Advocaat's Rangers to Celtic Park, and I think we all know how that turned out, even if none of us could have predicted that before the game.
No, I mean, before the game the papers were sharpening their knives for Joe's head. I mean, that was if he didn't win this one, they thought he was a dead duck kind of thing. That was
I know we're getting off the report here, but there's a case to look back at the media's treatment of Joe Vengelos. It's just been one of the most ridiculous. I mean, the Scottish media's got a lot of bad crimes in their copy book, but the way that Dr. Joe Vengelos was treated was an absolute disgrace.
I mean, that check was one of the famous headlines from one of the tabloids talking about Moravcik, who wasn't even a check.
Yep. or a dud. He wasn't even a dud.
Exactly. So
he
was
well.
Scottish press for you. Never let the truth or reality get in the way of a bad pun.
Well, you know what they say, when perception is something or other, then don't deviate from reality. Is Darryl Broadfoot. Hi Darryl, if you're listening in, because we know you do. And Stuart Regan.
Yeah, that's blocked.
Probably are all blocked. We're just stealing part for Harry and Eddie now. We've got to get it right. But back to the League Cup final against Aberdeen.
Okay.
I think
it wasn't a good day.
No, I mean, we'd hammered Aberdeen a few times that season. Even John Barnes, obviously Barnes' first game, we won 5-0 at Pittodrie, and I think we also put 7 by them at Celtic Park that season. Marco scoring a hat-trick, and Henrik get a hat-trick as well. But when you look back at the scorers on the cup final day, Vidar Rysef and Tommy Johnston.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you look at the team, still some great players. There's a great nucleus here. What we become, a good team. If Viduka stayed and he played under Neil, how good would he have been under Neil with Larsson? You don't know.
Yep.
Obviously, he moved on for something to come in, but could a Neil get even more out of Viduka?
Well,
was it 70%, was he?
Couldn't have got any less out of Viduka, because I don't think that was possible. Was Petrov in the line-up that day against Aberdeen?
He was.
Yes. That was good. So again, that was one of the good things. It didn't really come that season, but obviously Stan Petrov turned out to be a tremendous player for us.
Yeah, I mean, he was played out of position a lot that season.
Yep.
He never really. He still looked like a young boy, and didn't seem to kind of settle in very well. But obviously, the next season under Neil, he became the player kind of start of the kind of player he was going to become for Celtic, but this season was a bit of a write-off for him.
Yep. I think
we still had Albi. I thought McNamara had a good season at times that year.
Yep.
Tom Boyd done really well for Celtic under Neil. But,
I think I mean, we did have okay players. We just weren't getting enough out of them, and they probably weren't inspired or motivated enough. I mean, so that was pretty flat. Cup final, as you say, always glad to win a cup, but then again the following year, the difference a year makes, and obviously this one, Celtic versus Kilmarnock, it turned out to be the first trophy and a treble, and pretty much a lot of people are looking at that and kind of hoping it rings true again. But we'll not worry about that aspect. I mean, we can't do much about the cup finals to come. But I mean, that day, it was just we joked earlier about the Airdrie Cup final being a cavalcade of football, but this was a cavalcade on the terraces. This was just a joyous day, I think, for everyone.
Yeah, that was a great day. Not really about much to add to it. Everybody just knows it was Larsson's cup final, got the hat trick. Some good football getting played.
Was there? I was going to ask. I remember absolutely nothing from the first half. Obviously, the first half ended goalless, and then I really remember the goals and the breakaway, and obviously Chris Sutton gets sent off.
Yeah.
As well, but I think when you go,
I don't think you're right. It probably wasn't the greatest first half, but I mean, at this point, you knew Celtic were going to win. I don't think it was ever in doubt. Celtic were not going to win this game. I'm looking at the team here. Colin Healy played that day.
Yep.
I don't remember that at all.
I think obviously Bobby Petter started. I think Bobby Petter was an injury risk, and he got cleaned out a few times early doors by Bobby Williamson showing his total football and setting a Kilmarnock team out to maim an attacking wide player. And I think Petter didn't last more than 10 minutes, I believe. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that was the League Cup season where Martin O'Neill did play some of the youngsters. That was the game we went to Tynecastle.
Yeah.
And, we hammered them. Obviously,
Jamie Smith play it?
Jamie Smith, I think Jamie Smith and Craney. I think Stephen Craney might have got 2 that night. Obviously,
right.
it was 2 each at full time, even though we hammered them. It's just bizarre. Then we scored 3 goals in extra time. I think the fact that we faced Rangers in the semi-final that season kind of meant that the boys sat out, and the first team came in. But I mean, for me, I know we're trying to look at the finals here, but that semi-final was probably the real cementing turning point. Not that there was a turning point in that season, because we were great from the get-go, but I think to me, I remember kind of walking out at Hampden singing "You're going to win F all," and actually genuinely believing that we were going to take the lot after that night.
The semi-final was, I think it was obviously 1-6-2 the first game against Rangers that season, but did we get beat 5-1 at Ibrox?
5-1 at Ibrox in the return game, yep.
Yeah, so the League Cup was us reinstating ourselves to be the kind of top dogs kind of thing. I think the semi-final was maybe Neil Lennon's first game against Rangers. And
again, that's the one, allegedly, the rumours about
in the tunnel.
The story in the tunnel, Chris Sutton. I think they shared Ferguson and Sutton shared with it John Viola.
John Viola was the story, yeah.
Was his agent, and supposedly Sutton then turns around to Lennon in the dressing room and points at Barry Ferguson and says, "So Barry, what was that you're saying about you were going to boss Neil Lennon in this game?" And I mean, for me, as much as Larsson chipping the Rangers keeper yet again and kind of winning the game, it was the fact that you could see Ferguson and Alberts just drifting backwards and backwards almost to their own 18-yard box during the game, just because Lennon had that much of a control in midfield.
Yeah, that was a big turning point for Celtic. I think that season was the League Cup semi-final. I think that trophy was won that night.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any doubt we were going to beat Kilmarnock. Probably a lot more confident then than I am on Sunday, and I'm still quite confident for this Sunday, but I think the team at the time, Larsson and Sutton and Paul Lambert and Neil Lennon in the middle, Kilmarnock were never going to beat that team.
Yeah. Obviously it was an excellent finish from Henrik from the first one, the set piece. It was a good ball through to him for the second goal. Obviously took a deflection, but you know, it's really all about the third goal that day. I mean, to get that as a final goal in a Hampden Cup final to complete your hat trick. I mean, again, you can run through the stats of Henrik Larsson. You've just got to say to people, just watch this goal, give them a wee bit about the background. I mean, we were 2-0 up, but we were a man down. And Larsson pretty much was in the halfway line as an out ball, as an outlet. And then he just rolls his way to goal. I think obviously just the way he took the ball under Gordon Marshall before tapping it in was just immense. And I think again that was a night definitely really enjoyed, because I think you knew that was pretty much we're going to be on it for the season.
Yeah.
So I think again, if we're talking about League Cup setting you up, I think that would be it. And obviously that was a treble season.
There's a few notable players in the Kilmarnock squad that day as well. That kind of one of the number 10 for Kilmarnock that day was certain guys at 100% record as Rangers manager, Ian Durrant.
Ian Durrant, it's that excellent 100% record as Rangers manager. He's actually still doing quite well to still be in a job. He's done well for himself.
Yeah, and there's also on the bench, who never came on, was we mentioned him earlier on, Ali McCoist.
Ali McCoist, whatever happened to him? He used to do that TV show, didn't he?
Yeah.
What happened
Call
next?
My Bluff.
Call my bluff. Was it the radio show? I'm sorry, I don't have a clue.
Gus McPherson was captain of the team. Was like some big names of Scottish football. Christophe Coquard. Don't know who he was.
The lad's a Frenchman. Anything can happen. Did they also not have one of the soldiers of the Lou Macari time? Was Gary Holt playing for them?
Gary Holt, yeah.
So the great and the good of Scottish football are on hand to watch us win the final. And that should have been it. And you're kind of thinking, League Cup final, Martin O'Neill. That was the only League Cup we won under Martin O'Neill.
Yeah, that was...
I
don't think Martin was ever really... It was never his main attention was the League Cup. I mean, it was you said earlier on about the Hearts game, putting the boys in.
Yeah. But I mean...
Never really concentrated on it.
Funnily enough, I mean, also we did play Rangers once more in the final under Martin O'Neill, 2002-2003 season. Again, I mean, we lost 2-1, but it was a hell of a day, and again, a hell of a lot of controversy in that game.
Yeah. Just, I don't know what happened with... We had a kind of real wee period where Lovenkrantz was really hammering us. It just seemed to get... He actually killed the free at the back for Celtic.
Yep. Aye.
That was... It took Martin a bit longer than most of the fans to actually suss that one out. I think Martin was always loyal to his players, and he was loyal to his system as well for a few years. But Rangers at that point really knew how to beat us. Alec McLeish is a very lucky manager. He's not a very good manager, but he's very lucky. But Lovenkrantz went through a wee spell. I think it was 3 or 4 games. I don't know if he scored in them all, but definitely his presence was really testing our back three.
Yep.
But Neil Lennon gets sent off that day.
It was obviously with John Hartson's offside goal, even though he was about 4 yards on.
Yes. That
would have equalised. Which I think
missed a penalty.
We missed a penalty in the last minute as well. Again, I just think the offside call. I mean, there was a spell where Celtic were absolutely flying. I think at half time we realised we had 45 minutes left to save it, and as poor as we were in the first half, we were even better in the second. And and I just remember when we got the penalty, because it had been incessant Celtic pressure, it was just to see the ball just scrape wide. But I mean, like you kind of said earlier, like sometimes when you play Rangers in the final, it's hard, but you can deal with it easier. And I walked away very proud of the team that day. I thought the second half fight back had been brilliant.
I remember I was actually walking away with you that day. I think we both walked into town, and we were all concentrating on Anfield. It was all about the UEFA Cup that week. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, if we had won, it'd be totally different. But we walked away. We felt the team didn't let us down. It was obviously a bad result. The referee had a lot to do with it. I thought the team played well. Big John had missed the penalty, but less than a week later, it was probably became his most important ever goal for Celtic. I mean,
pretty much.
How can fortunes change with it? I mean, how low must have been John feeling that day, and then the following week you'll probably get a free pint in every Celtic pub for the rest of his life because they go at Anfield.
Aye, easily. It's the fickle nature of football, isn't it? You know, it's sorry, isn't it? Marvellous. Almost slipped into
Great.
run manager mode there. But I mean, I think that was it. I mean, you know, there were so many moments. Cause obviously, you know, we then defeated Liverpool, and then go up to Inverness Cali in the cup. And I know we always lose to Inverness Cali in the cup. I mean, so we should have accepted that. But yeah, again, don't know. Maybe just I was off the prize for some of the times, or you know, Martin was. I think his first team knew his first team, and even when sometimes the squad players came in, they couldn't raise themselves. But again, there's no point in beating ourselves up. I mean, it's a League Cup final against Rangers. You look back at the history, we don't do that well against them. And again, that was just a final that we maybe never had luck on our side, and we lost it.